Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to FCT Brief. Now, President Bola Tinubu has directed the Federal Executive Council's Committee on Food Security to take urgent steps towards crashing the prices of essential food items across the country. Rising cost of food commodities have been a major concern for Nigerians, with inflation putting pressure on households and threatening overall food security. The President at the FEC meeting stressed the need for immediate intervention to ease the burden on citizens.
President Tinubu, who described food security as a national emergency, ordered the committee to adopt both short-term and long-term measures to stabilize the market. Among the measures under consideration are improved distribution systems, support for local farmers, and tackling issues of hoarding and artificial scarcity. The committee is expected to present its action plan in the coming days, with Nigerians hopeful that this directive will translate into real relief at the markets. As food remains central to survival and national stability, all eyes will be on the government's ability to deliver on this crucial promise. Now, Ibrahim Garba is the National Publicity Secretary of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, and he's here with us in our studio this morning. It's good to have you. You're welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Nice to have you.
Well,
farmer.
Let me start by saying I'm a farmer. And there's one, when we started, you mentioned in greetings to your fellow Nigerians in Igbo and Yoruba, right?
Yes.
You don't mention that of the house.
Well,
Is it Nakwana?
Yes.
Fine, let's go with that.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, let's jump into what we have for you today. Now, everyone was quite excited, I would say, when, they heard the directive from the president saying we should crash food prices. Well, this is a welcome development in my books, I must say. Everybody looks forward to getting food at a cheaper rate. But let's look at the constraints, talk about insecurity, talk about inflation, talk about the high cost of petrol and diesel, fertilizer, even pest infestation. Do you think that this is actually achievable?
Well, thank you very much for this. First things first, let us commend Mr. President because intervention is normal in any business, or in any government. And for Mr. President to take that bold step, I think he has good intention, to service the Nigerian economy because food is critical. But again, one area I want to, advise Mr. President is having direct interface with the farmers. You understand? Because I've seen several interventions and we've had meetings at the highest level, but there will never been a time where, the farmers have direct access to, Mr. President or those, within the ministry. What do I mean by that? We have a group, or we have an association, which is the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, which is the umbrella body of over 82 commodity associations in the country today. Many people are aware of this, but why are we not having direct interface? Because if you have to introduce any policy that have direct impact on Nigerians, at least you need an access route. What do I mean? The farmers, who are the major stakeholders in the whole process, you need to sit down and have a dialogue with them because we have the numbers. With over 15 million farmers across the nation, they have the capacity to advise you on the best way forward. And that is why this morning, when I got this invitation yesterday, I was so glad about it because it's a time for us to look at this thing holistically because it affects you, it affects me, it affects every Nigerian.
Okay, now when it comes to having direct interface with the president, I would also like to ask, do you have direct interface with the various subnational governments, whether it's the local government chairman, the various governors? Because really, federal government don't have land. These lands are domiciled in the various states and local governments. Now, let's also look at the directive from the president. From your years of experience, do you think the subnationals are ready to help ease the passage of produce from the farm to the markets and all that because of their desire for tax revenue?
Yeah, that's a very good point. And again, if you look at the way it is being planned out from the presidency down to the subnationals, they have a vote to work with. We are directly, involved in the process of farming, producing the crops that should be used domestically or cash crops. So whichever way you look at it, we've been having issues of communication between us and the subnationals because over time, we found that this intervention, especially when we have these, like the Anchor Porous program, for instance, does it get directly to the farmers? That has been a critical point because if you have to carry out an intervention, who is this money going to and how is it being utilized? How do you measure the impact? These are some of the critical points. And that is why if you look at the situation we have in the country today, whereby there's inflation, there's insecurity everywhere, is because we don't have direct communication, we don't have direct access to those in power because they politicize the whole thing. If you politicize it, there's no way you can get across to those these things matter to. And if you look at this year, for instance, when Mr. President came into office, we celebrated him because what he brought to the table, over 1.5 trillion invested in agriculture. Why is it that despite this funding, we still witness, inflation, we still witness banditry and rising cost of, food items in the market? That is why we said, okay, what we'll do is we want to work with the subnationals, we want to work with the federal government at our level, because there's no way you can have access to the farmers without the umbrella body. And recently, again, I'll add to it that you traveled to Brazil. There was a deal, okay? Yeah. How many farmers, or is the association involved in the B2B communication? There was a government-to-government relationship, but business to business, you need to invite, or rather involve the critical stakeholder because they are the ones that will negotiate all these deals. And you can imagine, if we, for instance, my president, Dr. Farouk Umar Rabiu, was invited on board, there's no way we will not come out with big deals up to $10 billion because we know the areas of concern. Is it cocoa? Is it rice? Is it maize? Is it cashew? We have these, crops that are very well marketable across the world. But at the same time, we need to have inputs. How come the government will be involved in inputs, distribution, and all that? This is within our purview to manage and advise, because we know what is best for the soil. We know what is best for the farmers. And with all this knowledge, you don't expect to show us out and we'll come down to beg you. We don't do that. We watch. And that is why any step government is taking towards addressing these issues, it always hit the road because you are not having direct interface with the major critical stakeholders.
Prices. Now, very recently, the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, has directed the Presidential Food System Coordinating Unit to expedite action on the disbursement of federal government's 250 billion naira credit support for smallholder farmers at single-digit interest rate. Now, you spoke about, the government not having direct contact with the farmers involved. If you were to meet with the president today, what concerns are you going to be raising with him, and in conjunction with this innovation by the vice president as well? How far-reaching will it be for you?
You see, my response is simple. Let us first carry out, let us have an implementation plan, direct interface, monitor, evaluate, and at the same time come out with results. I don't want these audio messages. We're tired of that. 250 billion is not a small money. Exactly. If we have to make it easier for all farmers, if you release this amount, for instance, I want TVC to monitor how it is being spent or disbursed. Because at the end of the day, this money goes to the so-called people who call quote-unquote portfolio farmers. They walk around in briefcases looking for money to invest. But the real farmers, how much get to the real farmers? And that is why we say enough is enough. If we want to deal with these issues of food security, we must work directly with the stakeholders. We have the population. Like I told you, over 15 million captured in our database. Does the federal government have a database? This 250 billion, how is it going to be spent? You are forming committees, subcommittees. Where are the farmers? Where are the real farmers? And that is why, as an association, you find it very, very easy to interface with the major stakeholders. Remember, if it is a loan you are giving out through the BOA or BOI, and you are saying single digit, there's no problem about it. But you need to have a structured template to activate this. Otherwise, we still go back to the old stories. Monies have been disbursed and people are not willing to pay back. These are some of the critical issues we want the federal government, to address. It's not about mentioning the statistics, but activating the spending and those this money should go to. And that's why we are always willing to offer ourselves to serve the nation. You understand? If government is serious about this and this pronouncement comes in from the office of the vice president, we want to see it happen. Engage us as farmers.
Okay. I think government is serious. That is why the office of the vice president is emphasizing this.
Mr. President is serious.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now let's take a look at this other aspect, the cooperatives. Are you working together with the various cooperatives? Because I also know that sometimes to access loan, they might not necessarily go through the Farmers Association, they go through the cooperatives. Every farmer is supposed to be a member of a cooperative.
Yes.
Now, what is the relationship of the Farmers Association with the various cooperatives? And also you talked about the trip of Mr. President. When various governors that talk about their states being food basket, when they go on such trip, are you also involved in trips with the various subnational governments?
Let us begin with the first one, which you mentioned, that whether we have relationship with the Commodities Association.
Cooperatives.
Cooperatives. We welcome a lot of them. We interface directly with them because if funding is coming, you need a clearinghouse who identifies you as a cooperative or an association. But, over the years, we've had issues, I will not lie to you, within the Farmers Council. We have issues of people trying to impose themselves, and at the same time derail the process involved. We've been in court for several years, but again, we thank God we came out, and that is why, it was easy for people to loot some of these monies coming directly to the farmers. But now we're back on our feet, so it's easier for us now to do business with the federal government. I always advise, if there's going to be any way, any funding, local, international, you have a route. You need signatures. You need to appoint people, or rather give people the task to manage these resources. And I'm quite happy about one thing. We have a vibrant president, Dr. Farouk Rabiu. He was here on TVC. He rolled out the template. We want to come in now to partner with the federal government. We are not at war with the federal government. We want to work with the Federal Minister of Agriculture and all the stakeholders. But at the same time, we must look inwards. Nigerians are suffering. We're not finding this easy. Now, coming to the next question, we don't want to say it's a jamboree trip. I keep looking at this. I always look at Mr. President. Does he have good intentions for Nigeria or for this country? If he doesn't have, he will not sink in above 1 trillion. If he doesn't have, he will not create Ministry for Livestock Development, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. There's, innovation here, but it's looking at the future. So with this, and we still have issues, it's not the farmers. You question what is happening within those given the mandate to do what? Do the task. And if Mr. President has to go out on a bilateral relation to discuss business, especially anything that has to do with agriculture, who are the stakeholders involved? You watched it on TV. The governor came back and celebrated that, we have gone to Brazil, we sat down, we discussed business, blah, 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 blah. I have massive land. Who are those working on the land? And we look at the opportunities which the government have to market itself overseas. We have a lot of produce that are lying low. For instance, if we have to go through maybe the borders or through the port authority for export, of our produce, go find out how long it takes for a commodity to be exported. Sometimes it takes 3 months. But some people use this border, Yelwa, Kebi, to Ghana. 3 days, your goods are clear, you export them outside the country. Why is it difficult in Lagos?
Quite a nice
in the end, you find out some of these produce, especially yam, we expect them to UK, they say, sorry, it cannot be consumed by our nationals. First things first, the federal government should look at this. And that is why taxation, even if it's key, not agricultural produce. That is one. Then number two, export, agri-export should be treated with speed. You understand? Yeah. Even if you quarantine this product, it shouldn't stay longer than necessary because people need this produce and farmers invest their money. So we are counting losses on a daily basis.
All right. There's this recent debate now about the GMO, introduction of GMO seeds to Nigeria. No doubt Nigeria loses a lot of vast volumes of crop due to pests. Supporters of these GMO varieties say, this will help reduce the losses. And critics also warn of the risk. As a farmer, where do you stand on this debate?
You see, I believe in one thing. If you're introducing any product, it should come with instruction manual. Nigeria has fertile land. Back in the day, you don't even need to apply organic fertilizer. And you see the yields come out very, very well. Any government intervention, you go through the research and development bodies. Let us go and test it. Those that tested it, what is the impact? What is the results? We don't want to criminalize or demonize any institution coming to support Nigeria or Nigerian farmers. But we are the ones going to the farm. If you bring in any farming input that destroy this, the soil surface, what do you think will be the consequent? Disaster. And that is why when people keep talking about these GMO seeds, well, we want to stay on the sidelines and watch. But we will not use any product or any input that will destroy the soil surface. So if federal government want to have a deal with any international organization, engage the farmers, engage the R&D departments, so that at the end of the day, we have something to work with. Because our soil, as far as I know, is one of the best in the whole world. Okay. We have shelter belts everywhere. We have it in the south. Go to Akwa Ibom today, go to Ogun State. We have the best soil. So you don't need to import inputs that will destroy the soil surface. So we should be very careful about introducing any input or policy that will, affect the farmers and the produce negatively.
Okay, let's look at this other one. As we talk this, the cost of food prices are high in the market. Nigerians are not smiling, and the president has said, look, crash this. Now, what can the farmers do, independent of government, to immediately bring down the price of foodstuff?
We have associations across the 36 states and Abuja, very active. And even without government intervention, we've been doing our part. Of recent, you see the prices of commodities are coming down in the markets. This is our own way of intervening because we talk to ourselves. It's not because we want to run a parallel government. We want a situation whereby Nigerians can feed well, go to markets, buy foods, affordable foods. But at the same time, there's a lot of pressure on the farmer. Because any time you hear government intervention, sometimes ago, the federal government mentioned about opening the borders. No, that is not the issue. The issue is this. We want a situation whereby the farmer can move his produce from the farm to the market with no tariff. If you are moving goods, for instance, tomatoes from Kano to Lagos, multiple taxation. But why not make it easier for the farmer? Okay, you are moving these goods from Kano to Lagos, passing through Kogi and other states of the Federation. At every point, every checkpoint, these farmers are paying taxes heavily. Why should it be that? These are perishable products. We just want a situation where if it's, tax for instance, in Kano, or from Lagos to Kano, or other parts of the country, you just pay once and that's all. And again, one critical element, why food keep rising is anytime there's rising costs in fuel or gas or diesel prices, it affects the farmer that day in the market because the prices of transportation go up. So even if we are giving subsidy to the petroleum sector, the farmers too are waiting for you. Come and buy our products. We have them everywhere, I'll tell you this. But at the same time, you look at the fact that we don't have enough silos. Government should invest more in silos. Government should create subsidy for farmers in a way that some of these produce they have at home in hundreds of bags can be repurchased from them so that they can earn their money. The cost of farm inputs, fertilizer, for instance, going as far as maybe 75,000 per bag. You need like 6 bags to farm 1 hectare. Then what is the harvest from that farm? If it's going, how much, if I pay 75,000 naira to purchase a bag of farm input fertilizer, and I have only 6 bags or 7 bags coming from the farm, and I go to the market today, the cost of 1 bag of maize is as low as 25,000 naira. You want me to smile? So that is why I would say, look, it's something that is critical. Work with us. Honestly, that is the way out.
You spoke about the silos. Government grain reserves is believed to be underutilized and have maintenance problems, political interference, misallocation of funds, and other issues. How can you say this challenge of releasing grain help in the short term, to relieve farmers and not also drain the reserve in the process?
You are talking about the consumers now. People, you go to the market to buy food items and all that. But at the same time, government, why we keep saying investing in silos and hand it back to the farmers, we want to create an interface where farmers, or rather government, can monitor how these things are being utilized. But you are leaving it in the hands of government or government officials to manage. Definitely, you are going to have issues in terms of management. I keep saying these farmers. I don't want you to look at it as maybe the ordinary farmer. We have, professionals in farming business now. It's not just farming. We have those in poultry farming. We have those in, aqua farming also, and other areas. If you work with them directly, it's going to be easier for us to crash food prices. Because what we need now, what do we do to stabilize the economy? And if we don't begin to interface, or rather have direct contact with the major stakeholders, no matter the series of meetings held at the villa, it still comes down to nothing.
Very interesting points you've raised there, and I believe that government is listening, and we look forward to when, the Association of Farmers will be meeting with Mr. President to relate their concerns directly with him so that we can see an improvement in our food sector.
It should be urgent.
Yes.
It should be urgent.
Yes, I believe government is listening. I want to say thank you so much for your contributions on the program this morning. It was quite insightful, and we look forward to having you again. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.